let's stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Yeah. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it. Yeah. I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president.
Just days ago, we showed you Bill Maher roasting Adam Schiff for his blatant hypocrisy, and it hit the shaky Democratic base like a match to dry kindling. But we're just getting started. Welcome to part 2, where we go even deeper into Schiff's double standards and his relentless fixation on Donald Trump. It's giving full-on Trump derangement syndrome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time, unless you're fine missing the political mayhem we're about to unpack. Schiff didn't just criticize Trump, he was obsessed. From dramatic interviews to fiery rants, the man practically fantasized about indictments, years of walls closing in, and still, nothing stuck.
I was always of the opinion, number one, that the Office of Legal Counsel opinion that you can't indict a sitting president was wrong.
Oh, good.
That, in fact, you can indict a sitting president. I think there are prudential reasons not to try someone who's the President of the United States, but particularly when there's any risk of the statute of limitations running. If the president commits a crime, they should be indicted, and you should stay prosecution. So, but frankly, I had no expectation that that would be the course Mueller would take, even if the evidence supported it, because he is fundamentally conservative, and I don't mean left-right conservative, but he was going to follow the established policy. He was not going to make new ground. So I didn't think it was realistic to expect that he would indict the president. And those that did, I think, were unrealistic in their expectations.
Adam Schiff's obsession with Donald Trump didn't just influence his political messaging, it defined it.
For years, he dominated cable news, giving interview after interview, building a narrative that Trump had to face consequences, regardless of whether solid proof ever emerged. And for a time, that relentless drive kept him in the spotlight. Headlines,
talk shows, viral clips. Schiff became a household name. But when special counsel Robert Mueller finally released his long-awaited report, expectations came crashing down. No concrete evidence of collusion, no definitive bombshells, just ambiguity. Yet, Schiff pressed on, clinging to a message that was slowly unraveling under scrutiny. It started to feel less like a pursuit of justice and more like a calculated bid to stay relevant, and that's exactly where Bill Maher came in, cutting through the noise. He bluntly pointed out that Schiff's fixation on Trump bordered on obsessive, not necessarily because the evidence demanded it, but because the cameras rewarded it. Maher wasn't defending Trump. He was spotlighting a deeper issue, the politicization of narratives even after their shelf life expires. When elected officials keep peddling weakened claims, we have to ask, is this still about truth or just performance? Schiff may have aimed at Trump, but in the end, the American public became the real collateral, left with noise instead of clarity.
This was our big gun. Now it just looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like, if you couldn't impeach before, how are you going to impeach after?
Let's be real. Schiff's mission wasn't about justice or truth. It was about removing Trump and giving his party control. Looking closer, his strategy becomes undeniable. Every speech, every headline, every so-called reveal seemed timed to sway public opinion, not inform it. If this were about solid evidence, Schiff wouldn't have hedged his bets before the trial, quietly suggesting acquittal was likely. That's not confidence, it's prepping for a political outcome. If the case was truly airtight, why manage expectations so early? The truth is, it felt like performance, good for TV, energizing donors, and rallying the base. But that turns serious issues into partisan tools, and when political power becomes the goal, public trust suffers.
Here's the awful dilemma that we face. If we don't impeach him, that sends a message that this kind of conduct, this obstruction of justice, this kind of willing use of the help of a foreign adversary, all the lies and cover-up, that this is non-impeachable. At the same time, if we do impeach him, and he is acquitted as he would likely be acquitted, then the message is those are not impeachable offenses. At the end of the day, Bill, there's only one way to deal with this problem, whether we impeach him or not, and that is to vote his ass out of office.
Adam Schiff's agenda was never about truth. It was about control. His mission focused on shaping headlines, rallying his party, and keeping the spotlight on one target, Donald Trump. But just as things were becoming predictable, Bill Maher stepped in with a sharp question that rattled Schiff's whole narrative. Maher, a master at spotting political theater, didn't hold back. For years, Schiff built his persona on casting Trump as the villain, but Maher flipped the script by asking, "Even if Trump is as dangerous as you say, what is your side offering in response?" The silence that followed spoke volumes. Maher pushed further, asking, "Beyond opposing Trump, what vision does Schiff have for the American people?" And that's where Schiff's strategy falters. Once you remove the Trump criticism, there's nothing substantial left. No compelling policies, no strong leadership, just a politician stuck in reaction mode, more focused on airtime than offering real solutions.
Let's stop talking about Trump. We talk about him too much. We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
The hypocrisy becomes glaringly obvious when Schiff, after years of claiming to stand for truth and justice, immediately shifted to damage control once the Hunter Biden laptop scandal surfaced. Instead of calling for transparency, he quickly sided with defending Hunter without a second thought. When tough questions arose, Schiff didn't seek the truth. He launched attacks. John Paul Mac Isaac, the repairman who discovered the laptop, became his target. Schiff's outrage disappeared, and his focus turned to spinning the narrative. In any functioning democracy, Mac Isaac would be praised for exposing corruption. But in Schiff's world, he became the villain, with Schiff using the media to deflect and even accusing Isaac of being a Russian spy.
John Paul, we know that your life has been turned absolutely upside down because you were accused of spreading Russian disinformation. Tell us about the last few years and what led you to file this lawsuit.
Good morning, Carly. Thanks for having me on the show. Well, the last couple of years have been pretty tough. It was pretty quick out of the gate that I was labeled a hacker. And then after Adam Schiff and 51 intelligence experts decided to pen a letter and tell the rest of the American people I was a Russian asset, things have kind of gone downhill from there.
Good morning, Carly. Thanks for having me. The past few years have been challenging. It all began when I was falsely labeled a hacker. But things really escalated when Adam Schiff, backed by 51 intelligence experts, released a letter branding me a Russian asset. From there, everything quickly spiraled out of control.
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his...
Police Schiff accused him of being a Russian asset without a shred of evidence, just pure recklessness and a calculated attack. The media eagerly piled on, turning the whistleblower into a villain. No trial, no facts, just a full-blown character assassination for exposing the inconvenient truth. Schiff wasn't interested in the truth. His goal was to bury the Hunter Biden laptop scandal by labeling it as Russian disinformation, all without verifying a single detail. He boldly went on national TV, calling the story fake and accusing Rudy Giuliani of orchestrating a Kremlin-style hit job to take down Joe Biden. Schiff wanted Americans to dismiss the whole thing as just another hoax, but it backfired.
I want a group of people who are not ideologically captured by either side. I am tired of the extremes and the